may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by, brought to you by, brought to you by RADI.
And we are live. Welcome to Come Along Radio, the only show on the internet that covers the rich history and the sweet sounds of city pop. I'm your host, Rocket Brown, and I'm ready to get down. And I've got a special guest with me tonight. He's a very accomplished DJ, singer, musician, and graphic designer from the San Francisco Bay Area. I have the honor to introduce you guys to DJ FACT50, and he's going to share with us today his top 10 favorite city pop songs of all time. So enjoy the conversation and enjoy the music.
I know you're gonna dig this. Radio Action.
How you doing, DJ?
Hey, Rocket, I'm great, man. It's awesome to be on your show.
Awesome. Tell me about yourself. How did you get into DJing?
It was about, I'd say 1998 when I first moved up to the Bay Area. I went to a club with my sisters for the first time, and I started just kind of hanging out, and I felt like a wallflower for a while.
Yeah, I've been there.
You know what I mean? And once I decided to get past that and start dancing, I fell in love with dancing. So I was dancing for about a year or two, and then after a while I hit up a DJ that I really liked, and just asked him if I could DJ.
Nice.
For a club that he was doing, and he let me do the opening set, and it kind of took off from there. And that was about 20 years ago, almost 19 years ago.
Sweet.
But yeah, it was pretty cool. It was more of an underground kind of scene in the Bay Area, like new wave and dark wave kind of music, stuff like that. Yeah,
that was around in the 90s. Damn.
Yeah, definitely.
So what did you start DJing with in terms of music?
A lot of it was new wave and post-punk, and that's where the DJ FACT50 handle comes from. It's the Factory Records catalog number 50, which is the New Order's first album.
Really?
Yeah, so any music nerds that hear my DJ name that are into that kind of vibe, they usually immediately get what I'm going for, at least when I first came up with my DJ name.
Right.
But now I've kind of branched out into all kinds of different stuff because I'm a big music nerd and I love everything.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I mean, you got to branch out at some point.
The best music.
私に残してたい焼きしませクラクション一つあなたらしい別れ方ね涙を誘わないリプレイあの頃の二人にさよならをジョークに変えさせてリプレイ微笑みをもう一度さりげなく見送りたいいつの日も愛の痛みの繰り返しサングラスの中瞳を隠してテールの行方ぼんやり見ていた止めるタイミング外したから今さら言えないわリプレイ友達でいたなら迷わずに話し合えた二人リプレイ思い出にしないでまたいつか恋をしたら言い訳はいつでしたいその時はリプレイあの頃の二人にさよならをジョークに変えさせてリプレイ微笑みをもう一度さりげなく見送りたいいつの日も愛の痛みの繰り返し
Yeah,
Speaking of
absolutely.
everything, how were you introduced to city pop?
You know, it's funny. I've been into J-pop and like the visual K kind of music for a long, long time. Like
Oh
since the
yeah, like
late '90s.
X and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Mouse Miser and stuff like that.
Mm.
Yeah, and like Shonen Knife and Pizzicato 5. Basically, any of the mainstream-ish Japanese bands that made it over to America in the '90s. I was really into that stuff. So I was already into Japanese music at the time.
Okay.
And this was about 2 years ago, though. I was just on YouTube and I saw a ad for Plastic Love. And
of course you did.
And I was just like, what is this? This looks intriguing. And I clicked it and I'm like, I love Japanese, pop music. And I haven't heard a lot of 80s Japanese pop music, but I
Right.
love 80s music. So why wouldn't I love 80s Japanese pop music? And as soon as I
Makes
heard
sense.
Plastic Love, oh my God, man, I can't even explain to you. It's like the moment that song started, I was just like, whoa, what is this? This is so great. And it immediately was like, I was obsessed with it for like a week.
Right.
And then, and then I was like, there's got to be more stuff like this. And then I started noticing all the algorithm on YouTube would show, other songs,
That
random
algorithm
songs.
strikes again.
Yeah. And, basically what I did is what I do with any genre of music that I get into. I went to discography.com,
Right.
and I looked up every artist that
Exactly.
like had come up on YouTube, and I went and tried to like track down all of their albums.
Yeah,
and I went
Discogs, Rate Your Music, all that good stuff.
yeah, exactly. Right, your music was another one that was super helpful. Yeah, and those, oh man, that one's great because you get to get the opinion of other listeners too.
Yeah,
I
that's
really
true.
like that site. But yeah, basically that's how I got into it, and then it just kind of spiraled out of control from there over the last 2 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, who's some of your favorite artists so far in City Pop?
Oh man, that's like such a hard question. It's like asking who your favorite kid is.
I get that a lot.
I think the two that really like made me glom on to the whole sound, other than Maria's, that one song, Plastic Love, was Hiri Momoko Kikuchi and Toshiki Katamatsu. And those two, I really kind of like just identified with them. And in Momoko's case, it reminded me a lot of Kate Bush. I'll explain that in a minute.
Really?
Yeah, it's not musically similar to Kate Bush, really. Although there are a few kind of atmospheric elements that I think are very similar. But what it reminded me of is how Kate Bush is an independent female musician in the 80s that basically wrote, produced, released all her own stuff. And Momoko seemed to be going in that direction in her idol career. And then she went to do Ramu. And it seems like I haven't found much information about her after that. But see what I mean? Like she became kind of an independent female idol.
The best music on the best station.
Right, so that was kind of so interesting story about Momoko Kikuchi. So yeah, so with her, from what I remember, during her idol career, she was signed on to, I want to say, and someone could correct me on this, I believe it was VAP Records, which happens to be the same record company as Omega Tribe. For anyone who's familiar with Omega Tribe, and which is convenient because Momoko and Omega Tribe shared the same producing team and writers, mainly composer and designer Tetsuji Hayashi. Yeah, he produced most of Momoko Kikuchi's songs for her idol career. Same thing with Omega Tribe. Lyricist Yasushi Akimoto, who you might know as the inventor of the idol team with the Onyaku Club, I believe.
Oh yeah, right. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so they were the kind of the driving force behind Momoko's early in and idols. And what happened was Momoko kind of wanted to grow up in her sound, so she sort of Ramu was sort of the point where she was trying to become more like independent. You know what I'm saying? because
Definitely.
if you notice, like that whole sound is a lot more bombastic. It's a lot less softer than her other
Yeah.
albums. You know what I mean?
It's a lot funkier. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say that Ramu was definitely the point where she became more of an independent artist.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting you say Kate Bush, because most people when I hear Kate Bush in a conversation with like Japanese music, people are usually talking about what was her name, Akiko Yano.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because if you ever listen to, are you familiar with Akiko Yano?
I believe so. I have a problem keeping track of a lot of these
No,
artists
no
because
worries.
the Japanese names kind of blend together after a while. Like if I haven't heard a lot of songs, you know.
No, it's okay.
But, let me take a look real quick because I have my whole list right here.
So Akiko Yano was a sort of an avant-garde pop musician in the 70s and 80s. She was also married for a time to Ryuichi Sakamoto.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, she was considered the fourth member of YMO.
Mm-hmm.
And because she would perform in all of their live concerts and stuff like that.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I could definitely see the relationship to Kate Bush in that way.
Yeah, so if
I'll
I
have to
promise
look her
you,
up.
if you listen to Akiko Yano's music, especially between like, particularly between like 1978 and 1980, I want to say 83, or particularly just like the early 80s, I'd say. You could definitely hear that Kate Bush sound. Although I think
Yeah.
Akiko Yano started her career a bit earlier than Kate Bush.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, because I know Kate Bush
I wanna
was
say
active
Kate Bush
since
was-
like 75.
Yeah, that's right. Mhm.
Yeah. Akiko Yano, she was active in 75, but not solo. I don't think she went solo until 76.
So she was possibly inspired by Bush's sound. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah, I think you'll like Akiko Yano if you're a big fan of Kate Bush.
Yeah, definitely a big fan of Kate Bush.
Yeah, it's yeah, she's pretty awesome. Oh, that's interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of Toshiki as well myself. What's your favorite albums from both of them or songs?
From Momoko, I think Adventure is probably my favorite album, just because it's the one I heard the first.
Okay.
And when I hear Night Cruising, it just like gets me kind of teary eyed because it reminds me of like when I first heard this stuff. And it's I mentioned earlier that I was going through a depression when I first found this music. So there's a
Really?
there's a bit of an emotional connection to a lot of these songs for me now. So like it's kind of an intense layer to add on top of a already really cool new style of music to discover.
That's
But,
crazy. I had a
it's
similar
good.
experience, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But
Awesome.
it wasn't Momoko Kuchi. It was actually it was Right on Time by Tatsuo Yamashita.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Radio action.
静 答えず走り去って波間にうつむく影浮かべる本当は僕のこと好きになって欲しいというあなたのためにもしもあなたが望むならば心の痛みさえも忘れる今年の夏は少し早めに訪れそう眩しい愛と夢を運んであなたのためにもしもあなたが望むならば心の痛みさえも忘れる
When did you start incorporating city pop into your DJing?
Almost immediately after I heard Plastic Love. At the time, I was running a monthly party called Neon Black, and it was like primarily synthwave, Italo disco, a little bit of boogie and funk and stuff. And I was like, you know what, city pop would fit perfectly into this. Like, so I started playing it at the end of the night when there was like not very many people around. It wasn't really, didn't really pick up right away. Nobody really got it. But fast forward about a year later, and I'd been playing it on and off at at clubs and bars and stuff. Just kind of just throwing one song here or there because most people don't like songs that are in another language at at club nights and stuff. They get super picky about that.
Oh, really?
And yeah, unfortunately, it's kind of a really annoying thing about clubs. So I would start just kind of incorporating it more and more, and then finally one night right before the pandemic hit, about 3 months before that, I was at a bar gig I was doing in Oakland at this club called the Amplifier, and they normally do new wave and funk and stuff like that.
Right.
And I was playing a post-punk night, I think, and it was the last hour, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna drop a cool city pop set. There's only 5 people in the bar. There's not a ton of people, so even if nobody likes it, it doesn't really matter. Turns out everybody was super into it, the bartender especially. He was so ecstatic when I walked up to get my last drink. He was like, "Dude, what have you been playing the last hour?" I'm like, "This is all this stuff I've been super into for the last couple years, and I've been trying to get a nightclub going with this style of music." He's like, "Dude, you should do it. You should make it do it here." And I was like, "Really? Do you think the owner would be into it?" And he was like, "Yeah, dude, just talk to her." And I was like, "Okay." So I emailed her the next day. And she was like, Josh, we love you. We'll do whatever you want to do at our night. You're super cool and nice to work with. And, she was just on board with it, And I was like, hell yeah, this is so sick.
Not bad at all.
Not at all. And so I decided to call Plastic Love because I figured that would draw the attention of any city pop fans right away,
Fair
and so
enough.
it's Plastic Love Oakland. And, I did 3 parties. Ooh. Each one drew in twice as many people as the one before it.
Nice.
And then the pandemic hit.
Oh,
so we're all sort of on pause right now.
The combo breaker.
Yeah, but the nicest thing about the last event was that there was this other party. They do more vaporwave and future funk.
Ooh.
Oh man, I feel so bad. I can't remember the name of their party right now. But I worked with them once on a live stream right after the pandemic started.
Nice.
And we were supposed to collaborate because they're up in Vallejo and I'm down here in Alameda. We're only an hour away from each other.
Oh, okay.
And we were gonna do a big event, and I was gonna go up there and tour. I mean, not tour, but do a guest spot with them.
Right.
And I was inviting them to come and spin at my thing, and we were gonna try to cross pollinate our scene. And we'll do that again once everything's back to normal. But
Right.
so we're kind of in an impasse at the moment. It's looking good, like it's a very positive, so far. But it's too soon to tell. It just got put on pause too quickly.
We shall see.
Yeah.
Disco radio action.
So why do you think more people in America or the West in general should be listening to city pop?
Well, okay, there's a couple reasons. Well, the most obvious is that a lot of people already like American boogie and funk and disco and
That's
stuff
true,
like that.
yeah.
All the bands that the city pop artists are emulating or were influenced by are very popular in America already. And I think the only real hurdle that this style has to get over in order to be really mainstream acceptable in the West Coast. I mean, on the West Coast. I mean, in the Western world,
Right.
is the language barrier. And that's the only thing like that really keeps some people away from it. But
I can see that.
I have found though that more often than not, when I was driving for Lyft, especially, I would have city pop on all the time, and I would
Nice.
always ask people, what their impressions of it were after a while, and kind of see what they thought. And sometimes people would be like, "What are we listening to? This is awesome! Like, what language is that?" And they're like, But it's cool to see how people get pulled into it,
Right.
And that was like a cool experiment being in Lyft, and like people have no idea I'm a DJ. They're just getting in to get a ride to wherever. And they're
Right.
like, what is this crazy music I'm hearing right now? I'm really into it, and I could tell some people were like, I don't know what to make of this, and they just didn't say
happens, yeah.
anything. But for the most part, people were super into it and they were inquisitive about it. And that was really a positive sign for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I did a similar experiment in Santa Monica. I used to work at the pier. If you've ever been down to Santa Monica, and
I have, yeah.
you're at the beach, right? So what better to play at the beach than
Oh, absolutely.
Tatsuro Yamashita, Omega
Yeah.
Tribe, Kiyotaka Sugiyama, the
Right.
perfect beach music, Tube, Southern All Stars. People really love Southern All Stars, especially the parents.
Yeah.
They give you this look like, what you know about Southern All Stars? So it's but we got at the pier, there's a lot of tourists. You get people from all over the world. So, I started playing
Yeah, that's
music
great.
from all over the world. So you got to draw in all kinds of people. And sometimes you also get American people getting into it too. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, man,
Yeah,
that's pretty
definitely.
awesome. What do you think? Do you think that city pop has a future in American pop culture anytime soon?
Oh, absolutely. I think that a big tell to see that is absolutely going to be a big thing is look at the YouTube response to these
Yeah.
songs. Every time one of these things gets uploaded, there's like 1,000 comments.
That's true.
and people love Plastic Love, but they want more of it. They're like, this is a great song, but I want to hear other stuff like it. And that's like the number one comment I'll see on City Pop YouTube comments and stuff
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
fair.
And what people are lacking right now is a centralized place that is easily found to go find more stuff without having to do like what you and I are doing, and do
Yeah.
the diligent,
That's a good point.
dirty work digging through all the discographies by hand. Like most people don't want to
Exactly.
do that. Yeah, and as we were talking the other day, a lot of these YouTube videos that go up where people make like DJ mixes of city pop, as you mentioned, they keep using the same songs. And I really want like these people that are making these videos to have that access to all these stuff, all the stuff that I've dug up myself, the stuff that you've dug up yourself, the stuff that any of us that are like super into it have found. Like there's no American city pop website right now. That's kind of the big thing I think that's keeping it
I
from
see.
becoming a big trend.
Right.
There's a few Facebook groups and stuff, but it's still very, very, very underground in the Western world in general.
Yeah, that's true.
音が聞こえるよね少し心が乾いてる見たこともない名前さえ知らないどこか遠くで誰かが僕を呼ぶ気がする Oh let the wind blow 風を切って飛んでゆくよ世界の果てまでねえ感じるでしょ胸の奥に広がる気配よまるで恋をした少年なんて心が騒いでるもしももう一度生まれ変わるのなら空を自由にかける鳥のようになりたい So let the wind blow 風の中を息していたい頬を膨らませさあ僕を縛るすべてのもの吹き飛ばしながらため息のひとしずく一人きり吸い込んでまどろんだ昼下がりのもう一度生まれ変わるのなら空を自由にかける鳥のようになりたい Oh let the wind blow 風を切って飛んでゆくよ世界の果てまでねえ感じるでしょ胸の奥に広がる気配よ I can hear the wind blow 風の中を息していたい頬を膨らませさあ僕を縛るすべてのもの吹き飛ばしながら
Speaking of
But-
which, before I forget though, you're also a musician of sorts. You have two
Oh, yeah.
bands, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
What kind of music do you guys do?
So the first one it's called Vernian Process, and we were like one of the first, if not the first, bands to openly state that our music is influenced by steampunk.
Oh, wow!
This was around 2006 or 3. No, 2003. That's when I first started that project.
Ah, I see.
And that whole like steampunk subculture thing kind of came up about a year or two after I started doing my project. And I don't want to, claim full responsibility for it or anything like that, but it's been interesting to watch it kind of grow from being a thing that I did. I chose that theme because nobody was doing anything like that, and I wanted to do music that wasn't like people had heard before. So that's why I was trying to mess around with steampunk.
That's fair.
But yeah, and I when I first like had the idea to do music at all, I was just like, should I do like new wave or post punk or something? Because I like all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just like, nah, yeah, I mean, I could, but why don't I just do something different? Why don't I just do something new? And that band's gotten a pretty big international following since we started in 2003, and it was initially just me on a laptop for like 5 years.
That's
and
how it
then
starts.
exactly, and then I met this dude Martin Irigoyen, who's been like my evil twin, or maybe not evil twin, but we're like basically besties at this point.
Right.
And he's my guitarist, multi-instrumentalist, producer,
Right
mixer, master. He's taught me how to mix and master as well.
Multi-talented.
Yeah, he's absolutely super talented and also incredibly humble, which is super annoying because when I try to give him credit for stuff, he'll be like, "Oh, it's okay, well, we could do a better job next time."
It happens.
Yeah, that's how his personality is. I have to deal with it. And then the other project is actually just Martin and I and one of our other bandmates from Vernian Process. But instead of doing like steampunk and Victorian kind of themes, we're doing like Italian horror and 80s, like 70s, 80s kind of grindhouse vibes. Like that's kind of the music we're doing for that project. And that's called Profondo del Tenebre. That's like
Profondo del Tenebre.
Tenebre, exactly. And it's very inspired by like John Carpenter and Goblin and bands like that.
Oh, okay.
That kind of like film score meets synths and prog rock, disco, all kinds of stuff.
I'm a big prog rock guy myself.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll just send you a link to it later.
Right on.
Excellent. Yeah.
Do you think that you're going to be making some more city pop style music anytime soon?
I've been thinking about trying to do some city pop influence stuff, but I want to collaborate with some other people in order to do it. I don't want to just do it by myself because I feel like, I feel like it would be really a lot more full sounding if I brought in somebody with some actual jazz experience,
right.
And stuff like that,
Makes
instead
sense.
of just sitting around messing around trying to figure out what to do. Because I'm not a trained musician. Like I just started screwing around on a keyboard. That's how I learned how to play music.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah, tutorials and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been an interesting ride.
Well, FACT50, I appreciate your time. I've learned a lot about some new music that I got to listen to.
Excellent.
And I appreciate sharing your bands. And if you guys want to check out more of DJ FACT50's work, you can go listen to his mixtapes on mixcloud.com/VernianJosh. And
VERNIAN. Yeah.
there you go. And you can check out his website, djfact50.com. He's also on Twitch, SoundCloud, Instagram, and Facebook. And you can check out both of his bands, Vernian Process and Profondo del Tenebre, both on Bandcamp. But until next time, you're listening to Come Along Radio. I'm Rocket Brown, and I'll see you around.
Educates, syncopates, radio communicates.